Hey everybody, I am your how-to hamster, and we're going to be wrapping up the ship that I started on 2 weeks ago. But here's the thing, I did stream a video of it, but I had audio in there that I really didn't want and didn't know was there until the stream was done. So I cut the sound out, and I'm just going to be publishing it now as a VOD. Sorry, Twitch and Kick, they're going to have to go to like YouTube, Facebook, and whatever for long form video. But I'll give you a little summary in a very short video. I'm actually condensing a 2-hour plus stream down to about 7 minutes, so this is going to be quick. I might redo the whole cargo ship and try to do it in one stream, but we shall see. But without further ado, we're going to see the ship right here. Towards the end of the previous stream, there were some parts that were not lined up, vertices that needed lined up using the move tool. We're going to do that here. Switch into verts. We're using move. You got to make sure it's lined up on X, Y, and Z or Z before you start snapping them in place. So basically I'm going to start doing that here. Now I'm not going to show the whole thing, but it actually was extensively and needed to be done on the whole model. One big mistake I did make was separating everything into groups and then starting to subdivide before I unified everything into one mesh. So there's going to be a little bit of this, a good portion of the video fixing this problem, including splitting rings right here to make the geometry uniform across parts. So I had to use the split ring tool, if you look, to get that fixed. Fun times, I'm sure. Just there while that gets fixed. And like I said, I did decide to drag some parts on a little bit. But again, there were some parts that weren't lined up. I had to actually be very careful with symmetry copies. Sometimes it lined up on the wrong side, so I would test it, maybe do one ring and then see if it copies to the other, and then just start fixing things like geometry and doing split rings. Again, this is repairing my mistake. Now here's the UV map. We're using loops. That red isn't good, so what we're doing is we're giving it more cuts to actually make more parts. You have to get the seams there so they'll hide. They actually are where you're putting texture. I kind of broke that rule. Like I said, again, putting more seams right there. I kind of broke the rule of, put it where it is. I'm kind of taking advantage of a lot of things in this hard surface are going to be different materials, so this tends to hide the seams. As you can see, I'm going to putting more slices in there, which is an opportunity to be a little artistic, to kind of get away from that red stretch thing. I can get rid of that and another creative place to put materials. Right here, I'm even going to be a little warp engines on the neck. And it's weird. It doesn't make any sense, but I don't care. Pretty much a decent UV, and we're gonna start texturing. We have to hit apply VUV and all that. It's gonna complain. It's gonna warn you, but we'll have our UVs applied. All right. And now we're going into texturing, and actually there was one thing I did right in the beginning, and that was making a color-coded area for all the parts, and I got rid of that, that's my bad. I should have kept it so I know where everything goes. Whoops. So, I'm making I would actually recommend this, like the cargo containers are one color, the ship body's one color, all that, so you know where you're putting things. And I actually would have been a little more specific. Everything should have had its own unique color. That way I would have known. And as you can see there, whoops, more verts that aren't lined up. I'm not going to show that to you, but yeah, we had to fix that. That was a good part of that. Was maybe half the stream. Then I'm fiddling with adding a base material to all the parts, and you can use layers. You also got to be careful that you make sure you're painting albedo and depth and roughness, otherwise it might look weird. So you have to kind of be wary of that. And you got the material editor, which I'm finding out will be deprecated at some point, probably, since 3D Code is doing a node-based approach in 2026. It's just not out yet. Adding on that really pretty ruby reddish color material that I made, just really simple. There isn't much to it. And started out of that for various parts. As you can see, nice, pretty, a little stretched. I was worried about that at this point, but it actually turned out okay. And you're kind of going over that. You're adding a little black rubberish plasticous trim that really goes nice with the red. I was just going purely on aesthetics at this point. I was trying to add some lights. I'd actually decided to add it using the drawing tools, drawing depth and color at the same time. Did a little test there. The front I had carved out with a UV island. That didn't look so good, so we got what you see here for the engine intake. We got a little intake in the front. I don't know, it doesn't make much sense, but it looks cool. And here, I got the little back engine on the neck, and I'm using the stencils there and just painting depth and adding what almost looks like armored plating. So I put designs on the red part there in the back. Now a little more on the little side plates. I know it doesn't make any sense, but again, it looks cool. So I add little slats on the side, and I muted them there so I can see the preview, and they look decent. Of course, I'm not done yet. I like that pattern, so we'll put it here, and a little in-between neck. So that's added. Went all the way through. You make sure, it doesn't ignore back faces. We want the whole thing in this party, but this one, we put that all the way through on the cargo prints, a little print logo. Another one on the kind of neck for the head. And you got another one on the head here. I just decided to go nuts. One big mistake I made was, whoops, the neck was upside down. A little bit of slats on the neck there. That looked really cool. We just wanted to keep them, so that was cool. Added some more stuff. I'm just going nuts right now. I don't have proper sci-fi decals, so I just kind of worked with what I had. Didn't paint depth there, it looked a little weird, but there's a little space background, and I'm trying to work with the renderer. I do not recommend it because it messed with more stuff for me in maybe about a week ago. So I would recommend rendering in Blender, either with cycles or apparently V-Ray Community is for Blender. I would play with that. We'll show you that in the future. But yeah, this one, it turned out well, fortunately, except no bloom. There's a final render up on my X and whatnot, but I guess that's kind of it for the ship. It was really fast and dirty. I'm just going to go back to the main here. It was really fast and dirty. To those who signed in, thank you very much. Like I said, this is just going to be a VOD. It's really short to be a full-on stream. So you guys have a great day. For those who watch, thank you. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Bye-bye.